Today is June 21st, 2021. I'm interviewing Andrea for the Latino Oral History Project / Voces of a Pandemic project at Special Collections and University Archives at Virginia Tech. This project is in partnership with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know that this interview will be placed in the Special Collections and University Archives at Virginia Tech and shared with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. If there is anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting. So I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say, yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree after each one. There are several questions we need to make sure you agree to before we go on. Special Collections and University Archives wishes to archive your interview along with any other photographs and other documentation at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech will retain copyright of the interview and any other materials you donate to Virginia Tech. Do you give Special Collections and University Archives consent to archive your interview and your materials at Virginia Tech?
I agree.
Do you grant Virginia Tech right, title, and interest in copyright over the interview and any materials you provide?
I agree.
Okay. Do you agree to allow Special Collections and University Archives to post this interview on the internet, where it may be viewed by people around the world?
I agree.
Do you grant Virginia Tech consent to share your interview and your materials with the Voces Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusion in the Voces of a Pandemic Oral History Mini Project, which will include posting the interview on the internet?
I agree.
We have many questions in a pre-interview form that we have already filled out. We use that information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept in a secure Voces server at the University of Texas at Austin. Before Virginia Tech sends it to the Newman Libraries, we would have stripped out any contact information for yourself or family members, so that will not be part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible at the Newman Libraries. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview in your public file available to researchers at the Newman Libraries?
I agree.
Okay. On occasion, Special Collections and University Archives and Voces receive requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone numbers or your email with journalists?
I give my consent.
Okay, great. So when did you first learn about COVID-19?
Well, it was interesting. I was in my country actually, like in 2019. And I remember that there was like a first news on the media. It was like on November, December 2019, no? But you heard, oh, there is like a new virus, like in China, no? And I got back to the US because I'm doing my PhD at the university, and I got back with my kids in January without any problem. And I start like to listen to news, no, every day, that there were like a few cases in China, that there were like new cases in the US. But I think that in the beginning, I really didn't pay too much attention. No, I thought, oh, it is like a virus, so we are. And I think that I took like really awareness of it when my boss at the university told me it is serious. It is like a virus that is killing people, no? And it was like around February, March. And when I realized all the airports were closed, the university was closed, my kids' school was closed, no? And the life changed.
And what was your emotional and mental reaction to that?
When I knew about the virus.
Yeah, when you realized it was serious.
Well, I think that my character, I am a very like calm person, very quiet, and I think even though I was worried, a kind of concern, I think that I try like to continue with my normal life, like in the conditions that were there, and of course I was like careful, using the mask, and but I think that I took it really normal. I mean, when I talk to my friends, or when I remember my family members' reaction and my friends, I think that my reaction was like being careful, be aware of that. But I think that I was not like in panic or terrified. No, I was like, well, I need to continue my life. I just need like to adjust to the new conditions, working from home, and be careful when I get outside and with my kids. But I think that my reaction was like, I mean, of course, taking it seriously, but I think that I was not like no terrified or in panic, or no with this kind of anxiety, or no.
How do you feel like COVID has affected your kids?
Well, I think that for them it was really devastating, and really I think that they face a lot of frustration when they have to be homeschooled, right? I start like to homeschool them, and it was like an abrupt change for them. No, they are little. They are 5 and 6 years old. They were in kindergarten and first grade, and no, the change was like abrupt for them. So I think that they were a kind of scary, but they were like in this attitude, like, Mom, that I have heard that for kids it is not so dangerous. It's really, really harmful for all people or for adults, but for us it's fine. No, I think that they were like in this position. It is serious, but it is not going to affect us so seriously. But we need like to change our lifestyle, no? And now we had to study from school, to take classes virtually. And I think that in the beginning was a kind of fun for them. And after that, I think that they just used to do it. I think that kids are, especially then that they are little, I think that they are really adjustable very fast.
What was it like to homeschool?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was. I mean, to me was really, really challenging. I think that it is a word, because like I said, I am doing my PhD. I was like in this last stage of my preliminary examination, and I know like the papers deadline, and suddenly, and I live alone with them. Sometimes my mom visits me to help me. And it was like terrible. I mean, suddenly I was like, not just my PhD plus my work, but also my kids homeschooling. And I had, because I mean, they are very little, they are really dependent on me. So I needed to be all the time with them, guiding them through the assignments, through the different school activities, even like connecting the computer. It was like another life. I mean, I remember that I set a routine with them, like from, all the morning, like from 9 to 2 p.m., like straightforward, doing assignments and teaching them things. And after that, I told them, well, now I need to work on my stuff. But it was really challenging. Plus the housework, plus making meals, a lot.
How did that affect your education?
Well, I think that when, especially because my PhD was in the last stage, I think that my work was really autonomous. So if you ask me, I think that the pandemic really didn't affect my work. I mean, I was doing like the same at the office. Like, I mean, my path in the last year has been very isolated. No, just focus on my research, my data, my social life is very low. So I think that really didn't affect like my education, like in a way that I say, oh, I didn't perform the same. No, I think that it was more autonomous. Maybe, and of course I feel that it was more isolated, even like meeting professors, and no, it was everything virtually. But I think that my professors and the university did a great job, like try to adjust quickly and just to change the classes virtually. And no, of course it was like another way of meeting them, but I really don't feel that it was really abrupt. I know, like in the terms of my learning path or my learning pace, so the line that I have like to go through, I think that it was more autonomous, and I will describe it like more isolated.
You said your mother comes and helps?
Yes, sometimes, I mean, not because of the pandemic. During my PhD, she's used to come to help me. No, someone, especially when I am like in these deadline peaks. Yes, I am lucky that the last year, when all this pandemic started, before I am from Colombia, the Colombian airport was closed. I think that 1 week before she was able to get here. So it was really like a blessing, and she was with me. No, I was like homeschooling because my mom doesn't speak English. So I was doing like homeschooling, plus my assignments, plus my work, plus everything. But of course, she was a great help, because can you imagine my little boys at home, crazy, you know, all the time. I mean, all the day, like, I mean, they are very energetic, so all the time like pledging and no shouting and like a kind of noisy, and my mom was with them. It was like a blessing. Yes, and she was here, and thanks God she was fine.
So beyond your mom, was there anyone else to help you, or any organizations or anything like that?
No, right. I was alone, just with my mom, and I hold like a IGA at Virginia Tech, graduate assistantship. So no, my only like financial help was my work, and yes, of course, my mom like with me was, I think that it was like crucial in my, I mean, in this new life in which I have like to assume different roles at home.
Wow. So how did the pandemic affect your other immediate family that might not live there, like your mom, but also people back in Colombia?
Okay, well, with my mom, while she was here in the US, she was fine. And really, my mom is like a kind of similar to me. I mean, she takes things seriously. And even though she's an old person, she's 70 years, and she has like many like preconditions. She's like in this position, like, well, if I had to die, no, I die. I mean, she's careful, but she's not like in panic. No, she was not in panic like me. So I think that it was really good for me emotionally, no, like this kind of peaceful environment. So I think that it didn't affect her like in a way of her emotion, but of course it affected like her normal life, because she wanted, I mean, she needed to get back to Colombia like in a short time, and because the airports were closed, she was not able to get back. And no, and she started like with this feeling that, I mean, I am really behind of what the things that I have to do, the errands that I had to carry out in Colombia, like her previous interaction, of course, with her family and her friends. So it was like a kind of a frustration time, also like this kind of uncertainty, no, that you are, I mean, you don't know what is going to happen. No, I mean, you are like every day you listen to news, there are new cases, there are new more dead people, so we don't know when the airports are going to open, no? And you feel like in this kind of uncertainty, no, that you don't have control of the future. So I think that she was like in that position, no. There was like a point, I think that on July, that she was like, when it is going to get done, no? And of course the airports, I mean, the Colombian government just opened the airports until October. So it was hard for her, like, no, or like her original plans changed. For my other family, well, they live in Colombia. Most of them, most of my uncles and aunts, they are retired. And I would say that they have like a good quality of life there. So I think that their life was like to be at home, no, be careful, like, about things. And when we talk to them, of course, no, you can find like variations. Some of them were really concerned. No, they said that that it was a very like deadly virus. Others were like not taking the things like normal. No, you can find like everything. Thanks God, we didn't have like close family members or no who died or who were affected by the virus.
In terms of taking precautions, how did you and your family feel about quarantining and wearing masks and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that we were really precautious about it. I mean, we always use like the mask, no, when we got outside or when we went like to the grocery store. And of course it was just I mean, it really was essential, no. The place where I live is very like open, and it has a lot of green lands and all like places for exercise and just to breathe like fresh air. It's a very open space. So I think that it is an advantage that you can like get outside and you didn't meet like other people really. So we were like precautious in that, and we always like keep a quarantine, no? If like the government or the Virginia government or even like in the university, no, they get like the order that, well, you have to stay at home and you can not get outside. We were like fine with that. And when my mother got back to Colombia, she was like that, no, very careful. Keeping the quarantine, like using the mask, no, washing like her hands all the time, and we try to do it, like to follow that rules, even with my kids, when they are like outside, even though they were playing like alone, no, without interacting with other kids. We try to wash like their hands, and no, I mean, be careful, like be cautious about it, but like I said before, not like in this kind of panic, no, we were not like this kind of people who were like in the entrance of the door and take off all their clothes, and no in that point, but in the point of washing hands, using masks, no, keeping distance.
Did you and your family get a vaccination?
Yes, I am full vaccinated right now. My mom is full vaccinated. My father in Colombia is full vaccinated. I think that all my family in Colombia is a little behind of vaccination, but I think that almost at least like, no, I think that at least people who are older than 40 years, they are fully vaccinated.
Was that a given decision or was it a debated issue to get the vaccination? Was there hesitation or?
No, I mean, to me, in my case, it was like a given decision. I mean, I have clear that it's a kind of, I mean, it is public health, no? I mean, it's for your security, but also it's like the security and the well-being of all people around you. So no, for us was no discussion. I mean, we were like, no, we wanted to get vaccinated now, even though it's very curious because in Colombia, people, I don't know, especially in some Latin American countries, there was like this kind of conspiracy theories. No, this kind of that this vaccine was created, that it is going to kill the humanity. Don't put that. It is like the evil mark. I mean, there's like all this kind of. I mean, even from medical doctors. No, and it was. I mean, and you see like it all the time. Some of your friends and your family text like these videos, but no, I really never believe like in this kind of narrative. So no, I always told them that it didn't have like any science, no, base. But yes, in Colombia, I don't know. Here in the US, I haven't seen that, but in Colombia, there was like I would say like a very strong campaign against the vaccine.
Wow. And what was it like to schedule the vaccine here? Did you have any problems?
And no, it was really easy. I think that I got the first dose on March. I just call. I remember that there was like a special event for Latin American people, for Hispanic people at the health department of Virginia Tech in Christiansburg. And no, you just have like to call and to make an appointment, and they say, okay, you can come like this day, this time. And we got there, no time, and we got it.
Where did you get it?
Where in the first dose was in the Department of Health. I mean the Virginia Department of Health at Christiansburg. It's like the new River Valley. That is like this building in Christiansburg, and the second dose was in the let's see, my second dose yes, was in the Blacksburg Recreation Center. I just called them. No, I told them, well, 1 month ago I had my first dose of Pfizer, so I need my second one, and I just make the appointment and I got it.
What was it like to get it? Like, what were your symptoms after, and what was it like to be there?
Well, I think that the first time was a kind of, I mean, to me it was a kind of accomplishment. No, I even like, I was like this kind of person who asked for someone taking me like a picture. I mean, to me it was like, I can't believe that I'm going like to get this vaccine, no, that is going like to prevent or at least help my body to develop like antibodies, no, to fight against like this virus. I think that I was really happy. Like the first time was like a kind of a new event in my life, no, it's a kind of, oh, I got it. And I think that the second time maybe I was like used to do it. Of course, it was like I think that the same of emotion, and I was excited, but I think that the first times I was really excited. I was like expecting, no, because you listen to, I mean, from different people that they have like some reactions, some allergies, so I was like a kind of cautious, no, if I got something, but I didn't.
That's great.
Yes, it was just like the pain on my leg, no, that is normal, but I didn't have like fever or like these side effects that you can have.
Wow. What about for your mother? How did your mother do?
Yes, for my mother, she got the Pfizer as well. The first dose for her was a little painful. I mean, she was like complaining about pain in her arm, and she was like with this kind of like cold symptoms like the first day. But she was fine. I mean, nothing that really affected her daily activities. And the second dose was fine for her. It was like similar, like a kind of cold symptoms, but nothing that really no, make her like go to the bed or.
In terms of beyond COVID, when it comes to going to the doctor or healthcare, has how you go to the doctor it changed over the last year and a half for you and your family?
Yes, yes, especially for example, the last year I needed, I mean, because of my PhD, it was nothing related to the pandemic, but it was in a very like peak of stress because of all my examination and papers, and I was suffering from a lot of hair loss. So I needed to make an appointment with the dermatologist, with my the gynecologist, to see if I had any hormonal imbalance or something that what was going on. So yes, it was like a kind of different, this kind of, you need like to be pre-screen all the time, to answer questions all the time, to be subject that they measure your temperature, you feel that you are talking to your doctors like in a very like distant way, that you cannot touch everything. It's a kind of that, of course, you expect to have like a more personal treatment. No, you are like in need of getting like their attention and their care, and they want to do it, but they cannot, right? They have like some like rules to follow. So it was like a kind of weird. I feel like, well, I am with the doctor, but they were like, oh, I cannot like see your hair closely. Or it was like a kind of weird. So it was in my case, and with my kids was the same. When I took them to the pediatrician or to the dentist, no, it was like the same kind of pre-screening, and you feel that you cannot, I mean, you have to keep this social distance, you cannot like touch them, you are like in this panic that if they touch something, and that kids tend to rubbing like their eyes and touching their faces. So it was like a kind of cautious about it, washing like their hands frequently. And yes, it was, but definitely I feel that especially with medical appointments, it was a kind of different. We are.
Related to that, were there mental health issues inside of your family resulting from the pandemic?
No, not really. I think that we didn't face like any mental issue. I think that just like this kind of, I think that is the feelings like anxiety. It's not clinical anxiety, but it's this kind of feelings in which you always think, well, what is going to happen? What will happen with humanity? What will happen with my life? I mean, you are in risk always. When we didn't get like the vaccine, well, we are going to die. What will happen? I mean, there's like a point in which, if you don't know the future and you don't have control of it, I think that it creates a lot of anxiety, kind of stress. But nothing that didn't allow us, like again, like to continue life or to sleep. No.
In terms of not actually, financially supporting you all, but in terms of organizations in town or anything like that, like churches, was there anything else that provided structure and support and things like that?
Well, I attend like a regular church. And of course they were closed, during the year, during the last year. But they still offer like virtual services, and virtual like meetings, and there was like the pastor or the elder like talking about any Bible a message. And I think that of course it was not like the same, it was weird, but to me it was like important, like try to join like the service. And I think that it was it was fine because sometimes I didn't have time, like let's say the time of the service, but because it was recorded, no, I have like this tool like to listen to the service during the night. So I think that it's more like a decision from you, no, it's more autonomous that you want like to continue like be involved like with your church or with the groups that you joined before. So I think that they still continue like providing like this kind of service and encouraging people, and saying, well, we are praying, everything will be fine. And I think that it helps a lot emotionally, that they are like just like telling you, well, at least encouragement is useful like in that moment.
Did your kids also get involved in that, like the virtual services?
Yes, we were like in the living room, no, everyone like listening to the service, and yeah, they were involved. Also, they have like activities for kids, so they try like to listen at least like the story time. No, it was of course different, but again, yes, they still like join the services.
That's great.
Yeah.
In terms of politics and things like that, how do you believe politics has affected how COVID has been handled?
Well, I think that it has affected like in many ways. I think that I think that the pandemic made like governments like think about different the way of governing. I mean, it was like something abroad that they needed to change their political agendas, no, to give like attention to this problem, no, in their localities or countries or states. So I think that all the prioritization like made like around this, and I think that there was like a new way of governing, no, like changing like all the agendas, all the policy making process, make people even like public servants like working from their office. I mean, it was like a kind of like a new way, I would say, like a new way of governing, a new way like of influencing like people's life, no, they were still like in charge of, no, guiding and ruling, but it was like in a different way. So I think that influenced a lot, and I think that in the US especially, because also there was like this election time, no, the last year. Of course, I think that all like the wrong, I mean, from my point of view, all this like wrong way of governing, of managing the pandemic from former President Trump, I think that affects a lot, no, on like the state and local levels, and I think that of course it helps a lot to give like Biden's the victory.
And in terms of current social movements, so like Black Lives Matter, or the thing that happened in January with the Capitol, how has that impacted your daily life? And we can also talk about like the things that are happening in Colombia as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am a person, I am doing my PhD in public administration and policy, and my research focuses on like analyzing policies for marginalized populations. So I am a very like pro-rights person. So when for example, with this Black Black Lives Matter movement, I was like a kind of course of agree with them. No, I shared with like all their contents and arguments. So I was a kind of like supporting that, but also I think that simultaneously, like you said, like in Colombia, in general, in Latin American countries, there was like all this wave of protest. about social policy and justice, no inequality. So it was like, I mean, of course, it has like a different approach, because in Latin American countries it was more about like distribution of incomes and equal policies and more social programs for vulnerable population. And here was more like a kind of no, like advocate for Black lives rights. But I think that it affected me like positively. I think that I was more involved with news, with like interviews from people or from scholars, no, involved like in the topic. And I really, and I enjoy, I am passionate like about researching and studying all these topics.
Were you active in anything locally or nationally over the last couple of years?
No, no actively, like, no, I don't have any kind of membership. No, it was just I am active like in news or Twitter or like in Facebook, no, giving like my opinion. But no, sometimes, but it's very like private, very internal with some like friends in Colombia. We have like a common group in which like we debate about like political issues, but nothing that is beyond, like in the public sphere.
Absolutely. So is there anything else that you experienced during COVID that you'd like to share about your education or work or family or anything I haven't asked about?
Well, let me see. Well, I think that for me was a kind of I mean, I am here alone with my kids, and I think that this time of like Christmas, because I was alone, my mom was not here, and New Year, no, we are very family oriented, was a kind of hard, don't being able like to travel to Colombia, because I was like in this concern that no, what happened if I travel with my kids and I cannot get back, I cannot get like into the country. No, it will be like a big deal, and I am like in my last stage of my dissertation. So I think that it affected me a lot. It was like I was like alone here with my kids like all of December and January, isolated without any person. So it was a kind of hard, no, and having like the possibility to go, no, but simultaneously like having this restriction that you don't know what can happen. I mean, the airports were open in that moment, but you don't know if it's something like, no, can like come up, and again like the airports got closed. So I think that it affected me a little bit. One more, I think also I feel that from the pandemic, everything is slow. So if you ask for any paperwork at the university or any paperwork outside, let's say that you are looking for a job or whatever, you feel like the time like gets slower. Not that everything has like a different pace, and sometimes that is a kind of frustrating. So I will say that this both, like that, not being with my family, and the second, like try like to wait and wait and wait.
Do you have
But I remember you asked me something that was a kind of concerning. I don't know if you remember the last year when Trump was in position, he issued like this executive order to like make international students get back to their countries of origin. No, because according to him, if you are like online or virtually, you can stay like in your country. It was a kind of crazy, like but I think that in the last weeks, if it affected me a lot. No, I was like, oh no, I had to get back now with my kids, and I am not done, and I am working on my dissertation. But of course, because everything is online, so I think that it affected. I was like, no, making like this video. Oh, I will be outside the country, no, but well, that decision was like rebuked, so it was good.
Do you have plans to go to Colombia now?
No. I am still working on my dissertation. I'm going to have my defense, and no. And right now there is a very hard situation.
Absolutely. What do you want your kids to remember about this time?
What I want that they remember.
Yeah.
Ah, well, I think that I would like that they remember that they had. I mean that of course was like a hard time. I have explained then that it was like at least in my years of life the first time that I saw something like that. But even though it was hard, it was a hard time. We were able like to overcome, no, everything. We were able like to adjust, and I really think that they will have like good memories. I don't think really that it was something traumatic for them. Maybe because they are little, and because I was at home with them, like teaching, and I think that they will remember that like maybe with a time in which or when they could like spend more time with their mom and their grandmother. Really, I think that for them was a kind of fun and like a blessing.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, let me stop recording and thank you so much.